9 experienced hikers entered the Russian mountains on a clear January morning in 1959. They were young, they were skilled. They had done this dozens of times before. They were never seen alive again. When rescuers finally found them 3 months later, scattered across a frozen mountain slope in temperatures of -30 degrees, what they discovered made no sense. Tents slashed open from the inside, bodies found barefoot in the snow, crushed chests, missing eyes, a missing tongue, and radiation on their clothing. The Soviet government closed the case and called it a compelling natural force. They never explained what that force was. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. In January 1959, a 23-year-old engineering student named Igor Dyatlov assembled a team of 9 experienced hikers at the Ural Polytechnic Institute in Soviet Russia. 8 men, 2 women, most of them in their early 20s. All of them certified mountaineers who had spent years training for expeditions exactly like this one. Their goal was to ski across the northern Ural Mountains and reach the peak of Mount Otorten, a challenging route, rated the highest difficulty level available in the Soviet Union at the time. But for this group, it was simply the next adventure. They were so confident in their return that Igor told his sports club one thing before leaving: "We will send you a telegram when we get back." That telegram never came. 5 days into the journey, one member named Yuri Yudin developed severe joint pain in his knee and was forced to turn back. A decision made out of frustration, a decision that saved his life. He was the only one who came home. The remaining 9 continued deeper into the mountains. The diaries from those first few days reveal nothing alarming. In fact, they were in high spirits, joking around, writing their own little expedition newspaper, calling it the Evening Otorten. One headline read, "From now on, we know that the snowmen exist. They can be met in the northern Urals near Otorten Mountain." They were laughing. Nobody was laughing when the search party found what was left of them. By February 20th, 3 weeks after the group had departed, the sports club had heard nothing. No telegram, no word, nothing at all. A search party was sent immediately. What they found when they reached the hikers' last campsite on the slope of a mountain called Kholatshakhl stopped them completely. Kholatshakhl. In the local Mansi language, that name means one thing: dead mountain. The tent was still standing, but it had been slashed open from the inside, not cut carefully, ripped and torn as if someone needed to escape in a matter of seconds and had no time to use the door. Inside the tent, everything was perfectly arranged. Food was sliced and laid out on a plate. Boots were neatly lined up. Warm coats were folded. Nobody had packed. Nobody had prepared to leave. They simply ran. Outside in the snow, investigators found footprints, 8 or 9 sets, some made by bare feet, some by a single sock, some by a single shoe, all of them heading in the same direction, away from the tent, down the mountain slope, toward the tree line over a kilometer away. They had abandoned warm clothing, boots, and supplies in temperatures that would kill an unprotected person in minutes. Whatever they were running from, they were more afraid of it than they were of the cold. Over the following weeks, the search party found the first 5 bodies. 2 of them, Igor Dyatlov himself and a woman named Zinaida Kolmogorova, were found several hundred meters from the tent, facing back toward it, as if they had turned around and tried to return. They never made it. A 3rd hiker, Rustam Slobodin, was found nearby. He had a fractured skull. The official cause of death was listed as hypothermia. Near the tree line, under a large cedar tree, searchers found the remaining 2 bodies. Both were barefoot. Branches on the cedar tree were broken as high as 5 meters up, suggesting someone had desperately climbed it, perhaps to look for something, perhaps to escape something on the ground. There were traces of a small fire nearby, but it had gone out long before anyone arrived. Then in May, after the snow began to melt, an indigenous Mansi hunter discovered a snow shelter carved into a ravine, a crude den dug into the frozen ground. Inside were the final 4 bodies. And this is where the mystery becomes truly disturbing. 2 of the hikers, Semyon Zolotaryov and Lyudmila Dubinina, had suffered catastrophic internal injuries, crushed chests, multiple broken ribs, fractures so severe that Soviet investigators compared the force required to that of a high-speed car crash. But here is what made no sense. There was no external damage to the skin, no bruising on the surface, no cuts, no signs of impact from outside. Something had crushed them from within. And Lyudmila Dubinina, the 20-year-old woman, was found missing her tongue. Her eyes were gone. An investigator who examined her body noted there was no explanation for either. To this day, there still isn't one. And then investigators discovered something that sent the entire case into a completely different dimension. Some of the clothing removed from the bodies tested positive for radiation. The Soviet government closed the investigation in May 1959. Case sealed. Files sent to a classified archive. Official conclusion: a compelling natural force. No further explanation given. For decades, that answer satisfied no one. The avalanche theory is the most widely accepted explanation today. In 2021, Swiss scientists published research suggesting a rare type of slab avalanche could have been triggered by the way the hikers cut into the snow slope to set up their tent. This could explain the tent being buried, the desperate need to escape, and the crushing injuries found on some bodies. But critics point out that the slope angle was far too gentle for a standard avalanche. And it still does not explain the radiation, or the missing tongue, or what came next, the military weapons. Theory points to the fact that in 1959, the Soviet Union was actively conducting secret weapons tests in the Ural region. Some researchers believe the hikers accidentally wandered into a military testing zone and were exposed to an experimental weapon, something capable of causing massive internal trauma without leaving a mark on the skin. The radiation on their clothing supports this. The Soviet government's swift and unexplained closure of the case supports this, but no direct evidence has ever surfaced. The infrasound theory suggests that certain wind conditions in mountain passes can produce low-frequency sound waves below the range of human hearing. These infrasound waves are known to cause panic, disorientation, paranoia, and in extreme cases, hallucinations. Some researchers believe this could explain why 9 rational, experienced hikers suddenly fled their tent in blind terror into temperatures that would kill them. And then there are the orange spheres. In the months surrounding the deaths, multiple independent witnesses, including military personnel and meteorological service workers, reported seeing glowing orange orbs floating silently in the night sky above the Ural Mountains. These reports came from different locations, different people, all saying the same thing. These reports were never investigated. They were never included in the official case file. They were never explained. In 2019, Russia reopened the investigation. They concluded it was an avalanche. Case closed again. Most researchers still disagree. Here is what we know for certain. 9 experienced hikers, people who had done this before, people who knew these mountains, fled their tent in the middle of the night in temperatures cold enough to kill them within minutes. They left behind everything that could have saved them. Some died of cold, some died of injuries that should not have been possible. One was found missing body parts that were never recovered. The Soviet government sealed the files and offered nothing meaningful. And somewhere in a mountain pass in the northern Ural Mountains, a place now named after the man who led those 9 people to their deaths, the answer is still buried under the snow. Whatever they ran from on the night of February 1st, 1959, has never been identified. And perhaps that is exactly how someone wants it. If this case disturbed you as much as it disturbed us, you are not alone. Subscribe to MistFiles, because this was just the first file we have opened. There are many more, and they only get stranger.